Hey guys, this is Lever Maniac. Today I'm gonna put on up my Johnson character deck profile from the Virtual World arc. Now we are almost there. If this member is finished, then we have Lecter left of the Big Five and the other two sinister leaders of the ex-Kyber Corporation, and then it's just about Tristan Taylor, which I'm about to solve these days. Now, what can I say about Johnson? Johnson was the lawyer of the Big Five, the head lawyer, you can say, and it was a very sly, cunning, and crafty character, which had not that much of good abilities, duel abilities. As a matter of fact, as to my stance and view, he was the worst duelist of the Big Five. Curse's deck was very inconsistent, and on the one side and on the other side, he tried just to on the purpose of winning on the issue of manipulating and lying and betraying to win the duel, not with skills, because his skills weren't just good enough and he was lacking them in every sense. Now, yeah, of course, as you might see already on the front, his deckmaster was the judge, and the ability of the judge was not that bad, because it had the ability, if he discards one card, then he can destroy all opponent's monsters, and for each monster that he is destroyed by this effect, he can even affect battle damage onto your opponent. I think 500 or 300 per each monster, something like that. Nevertheless, he hadn't that much of a skill in terms of strategy and tactics, and his monsters were very, very weak in terms of attack and defense stats, as well as the fusion monsters, of course, he was working with. They were also very weak. I mean, the two monsters, one was Camion Wizard and the other one was, I don't know how it was called again, something with Warrior, I think. They had stats of about 1,200 and 1,300 attack, and not that much more defense, I think. So that's very, very bad. I mean, in that time we had already monsters with more than 1/8 attack and more, and cards like Millennium Shield, which had 3,000 defense points, or Labyrinth Wall, for example, which there existed. Now, to make a long story short, onto his monsters, of course, there were not that much monsters shown in the main show or in the virtual world during his many duels, so I put a couple of them in there, which were added in this deck list. The first one of them is Berserk Gorilla. I thought you have to pimp up his deck a little bit in order to, I don't know, to stand a chance at least against any opponent. And like I said, it was written down in this deck list. Another one, which was my idea of being very appropriate, as he might have the Berserk Gorilla, was Voltic Kong. As you might say, it's a developed form of that Berserk Gorilla. Yeah. Further on, Banisher of Light, which looks similar to a Judge, so I thought in terms of artwork this is good, and it had 2,000 defense, so yeah, it's a good defensive option for him. Then a card which you played out, which isn't that bad. I mean, in terms of effect, at least it has the engine. If it flipped face up, you can draw one card, so it's not even that bad. Then another card which I think in the TCG it's a little bit expensive, so I ordered it. Each one for a couple bucks from the OCG. Even the export dollars or prices included. 3 times the curtain of darkness. There we go. Yeah. Very weak monster, 500 attack and 600 defense, but he had it, so I put it in there. Then another one of those weak monsters, the one-eyed shield dragon, which I put just one in there. I think, I'm not sure, but I thought at least I have more, but I didn't find it anymore. So as a result of that, I'll stick into that one. Then a card which is very appropriate to the deck as well, from the name as well as from the artwork, is the Judgment Hand. 3 times. I put it in there. 1,400 attack, at least one of the, you might say, stronger monsters in his deck. Course of view. Wouldn't count these 3. I mean, deckmaster is clear, but those 2 I put in there also. So yeah, like the name says, Judgment, and it's very similar to that engine and 2 hands, and I don't know, you see not that much of the body, so I thought it's on the issue of the artwork also fitting into this deck. Then one card which I don't know, I think it was in the Big 5 deck, as it was his turn. He played out the Mystical Elf. I put it in there 2 times, or maybe even it was against Joey Wheeler. I'm not that sure again. Not anymore. Then further on, the Armail. Put it in there 3 times. You need this card in order to fuse it with the one-eyed shield dragon. But Armail is also a very weak vanilla warrior type monsters, as most of the cards which were shown in, and engaged into the battle or during the show. One of his stronger monsters, which I have to admit, which he basically possessed, was the Hysteric Fairy, 1,800 attack stats. Yeah, you need it very urgently in this deck, since it is very powerful in comparison to the others, or at least most of the others. Then the Judge Women I put in there, which wasn't on the deck list, and also not in the show. Sorry. I won't do a cut now. I think. Yeah, the Judge Woman has 1,800 attack. So guys, this deck is virtually pimped up, like I said, increased in terms of strength and also of effects, of course. No, these were his monster cards, and that ain't that much. I think it was, I think, like 20. Normally I have a little bit more, so yeah, you might say it's not that much cards. I think into the Duke Devlin card I put also just 18 or 9, something like that, 18 I think. So yeah, it's yeah, still more than that. Now to his spell cards. We did deckmaster there, remain it there. And to confirm that it's all about this Johnson, I put in there question. Henceforth, he had one card, which, as a matter of fact, was named question, but it wasn't that card. It was a card which is an anime exclusive card, and I thought, yeah, if it's not existing in here, I might put in this one instead in there. And as a combination or combination or consideration onto that card, I'll also put in there reversal quiz, which also is working, I think, comparable to this card. Afterwards, also I put in the inspection, because I think he had two magic cards. One of it was, like I said, question, and the other one was, I'm not sure what it was called, but I think it was something like called in a similar way. But yeah, I think it had other dynamics and mechanics. It was something with increasing life points and decreasing attack stats. So it was working in another way. Then I put in the Dark Factory of the mass production, which works with normal monsters, as he has very much of them, and to put very much on them onto his deck. It's very logical to conclude that you might need a card like that. You can, of course, take two normal monsters from your graveyard to your hand, if I'm not been mistaken. Yeah. Then I put also in the creature swap. I thought it might be very good if he could, mainly if he's about to put in there one of his weaker monsters, he could change it with his opponent, stronger ones, for example. Also, I put in there for a trap destructor, which might come in handy. So remove trap. I put 3 cards in there, which are a direct cause of his deckmaster ability, but the judge doesn't have this effect, so I put 3 times in there. Lightning. If you discard 1 card, then all your opponent's monsters are destroyed. And of course, I will spoil it now, or will tell you, I also put it there just asserts, which puts damage onto your opponent for each monster that he possesses. So you have this combination, which, if you sum it up, makes or mimes the deckmaster ability. Also put in their offerings to Doom. I think he played that one out, but I'm not certain anymore. He had a card which was quick attack. I put in there order on assault as an exchange, which can, I think, if you tribute in what normal monster, then can you destroy one of the opponent's monsters. And as I said, you have many normal monsters in this deck, so it's quite simple to put this in there. Card which was shown in his deck list was the Reinforcement of the Army, I think, and the Messenger of Peace. Then I put, in terms of draw engine, the pot of duality in there, and the pot of come on, how is this called in English? The duplicity. I got a card which is appropriate to, I think, to a judge, is of prohibition. As a judge can, of course, if he abolishes a law, or to say it more precisely, if he makes his judgment, then it can be also a prohibition of something. Then the return of the warrior, or warrior's return, as he has very much warrior type monsters in his deck. Hammer shoot, which is a good method if you have, you have so much weak monsters that the opponent eventually gains the upper hand, and then you have this possibility to destroy them. Then also reserve, if one of your monsters is destroyed, then you can of course draw one card each time as a continuous spell card. He had many most of the spell cards which were shown of him were continuous spell cards, so yeah, it's also logic in this way to put in there. Then support. He had many cards which were increasing or decreasing attack stats, I think. So spell cards, I mean. So it is very logical after that to put something like that in there. You increase your attack stats of one of your monsters by 1,500 for this turn only, but yeah, it's good. Then of course a possibility to lock down your opponent's trap and magic cards is heavy store. Now these onto his spell cards. Now we're coming to his trap cards. I've already mentioned he has the just desserts in there. I put in there, I think 2 or 3 times. 3 times, of course. Yeah. You have to take into consideration that he had of course, or was the judge, so it's very in combination of thoughts, it's very smart to conclude that he had the balanced judgment as a trap card, the Solomon judgment, Solomon warning 2 times, and the Solomon strike. All of these cards have of course the judge on the front, so it not this judge, but yeah, a judge you might say. And last but not least, I put in there a Call of the Haunted because I speculate that he had this card, but yeah, even if he didn't, it's not that bad to have it in here. Now these were his trap cards, and with this at the same time, the rest of his deck is closed, and this deck profile is finished. I hope you guys have a nice evening. The like and the subscribe button, of course. Yeah. Tell me, reveal me some critiques and comments in general as well. I will be very pleased to read some comments. And yeah, as always, stay tuned. Next days I will then do Lecta, I think, and then I hope that we can make a break in terms of the evil antagonists, and I can put finally my Tristan Taylor deck profile in there, and then I will do Noah and finally Gozaburo, and then yeah, we let this saga after us, and in the aftermath, you might say. I will be finally revealing my Orichalcus deck profiles to you guys, which I'm very pleased and enthusiastic about. Yeah, so I think I said enough for today, and I will be seeing you and joining you guys then. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe the other day. Yeah, at the latest I would say I would put Lecter's deck profile on Friday in there. But maybe even tomorrow. Goodbye, you're a Slifer Maniac.